My name's Krista. I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm here today to talk to you about healthy eating, diabetes, and carbohydrates. And so in this class, we're going to learn more about making those healthy changes into your lifestyle and how you're going to implement them. We're going to talk about the macronutrients that your body uses for energy, carbohydrates, protein, and fat, but specifically carbohydrates in this class today. So when you eat a carbohydrate, what happens is you break it down and it turns essentially into sugar. And that sugar is digested in our intestines and then goes to our bloodstream. Well, our pancreas releases insulin, and insulin acts as a key to open up the cells to allow sugar from the bloodstream into our cells. So what happens is when you have type 2 diabetes, the body is not producing enough insulin, or you're insulin resistant. So you have a layer of fat around your cells, and that key, insulin, can't open up the cell. So your sugar stays in your bloodstream, which causes you to have high blood sugars. So who's more at risk? You're more at risk to have type 2 diabetes if you're overweight, your fat distribution. So if you carry more of your fat, your adipose tissue in your midsection, you're more at risk. If you are inactive, so you're not exercising, if you have a family history, your race affects if you're more at risk, your age. So unfortunately, the older we get, the more at risk we get. If you have pre-diabetes, or if you've had gestational diabetes, or if you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, you are more at risk. Okay, so complications with diabetes, you are twice as likely to die from heart disease. So heart and blood vessel disease, nerve damage, kidney damage, eye damage, foot damage, hearing impairment, skin conditions, Alzheimer's disease. All of these are complications with uncontrolled diabetes. So recommendations for diabetics is really to maintain your blood sugar levels, and by weight loss, so diet and exercise, decreasing your carbohydrate intake and eating healthier, and then of course taking your medications as prescribed by your physician will all help for controlling your blood sugars. I want to talk to you about 8 tips for eating healthier and weight loss. So tip number 1 is don't skip meals. And I'm sure we've all heard this before, but the reason we don't want to skip meals is your body goes into that starvation mode. So when we skip meals, we tend to, our metabolism slows down, we tend to overeat in the next meal because we're starving, and that leads to weight gain. And if you think of your body like a fire, your metabolism is the same way. So if you put 2 big logs on that fire and just let it sit overnight, it's not going to burn as efficiently as if we're refueling that fire with smaller logs all throughout the night. So same thing, smaller meals all throughout the day will help with keep your metabolism up, which will help with weight loss and not weight gain. Tip number 2 is mindfully eat. So when you're eating, make sure that you're really fully present at that meal, so you don't have distractions in the background, like your TV in the background, because then we go into kind of autopilot, where we lose track of what we're doing and we tend to overeat. And we eat faster. And so it's really important to just sit and mindfully eat without those distractions. Tip number 3, don't drink your calories away. Sodas, Gatorade, those Frappuccinos from Starbucks or your favorite coffee place, those have a lot of extra calories that really do add up. So try to cut those out and limit the sugary drinks, because they're really just empty calories. Tip number 4, drink plenty of water, so at least 64 ounces a day. And the reason this is so important is because our bodies can't differentiate between thirst and hunger. So a lot of times when we think we're hungry, we're really just thirsty. So make sure that you are drinking all throughout the day as well. Tip number 5, when eating carbohydrates, really choose like more complex carbs. So choose whole grain options versus like white options. So choose whole wheat pasta, brown rice, whole wheat bread, These are better options because of the amount of fiber in these carbohydrates. And fiber is going to help slow down the absorption of the carbohydrate, and so it'll help stabilize your blood sugars. Tip number 6, fill your plate with vegetables. So make sure you're consuming lots of vegetables because they have so many vitamins and nutrients for your body, but also there's a lot less calories in vegetables versus other items. Tip number 7, reduce the amount of fatty and processed foods. So these food options tend to have a lot more calories and what we call empty calories. They're not as, they don't have as much nutritional value for you. So when you're going to the grocery store, best rule of thumb is to stay on the outside perimeter of the grocery store and really avoid those inner aisles, because that's where a lot of the processed foods are going to be, where you need to stay away from those. Tip number 8, watch your portion sizes. So make sure, when you're eating out, maybe get half of your entree to go. We tend to overeat with our portion sizes, so really be mindful of your portion sizes. Okay, so wanted to go through with you typical items that we get when we go out to eat, and what to order more of and consume more of and eat less of. So on the first one, I have black beans or refried beans. Which one do you think is healthier? Obviously, the black beans are healthier because there's a lot of added fats to the refried beans. Usually when we eat out, there's bacon fat in it. So just be mindful of the refried beans because of the additional fat. So we have a cheese enchilada or fajita meat. So obviously the fajita meat is going to be better because it's going to be high in protein. The enchilada has a lot of fat as well with all the cheeses. So make sure that you choose the fajita meat. So corn or broccoli, both are good choices, but broccoli is going to have more nutritional value and less sugars in it. So especially if you're worried about your blood sugars, if it's between corn and broccoli, broccoli is your go-to. Gatorade or Diet Coke. So a better option would be Diet Coke because Gatorade has a lot of extra sugars in there. And so again, when we're concerned about your blood sugars, Diet Coke is a better option. Okay, guacamole or queso. The guacamole is going to be your better option because it has a lot of healthy fats in it. And so it has a lot of additional nutrients for your body as well. So brown rice or chips. So obviously the brown rice is going to be better because it has that additional fiber, which is going to help slow down the absorption of those carbohydrates. And that's what we want to do to make sure that you don't go through those highs and low peaks of blood sugar levels. So a taco salad or fish tacos. So the fish tacos are going to be better for you because with the taco salad, there's a lot of added extra goodies on there. So be mindful that salads are great for you, but it's the additional toppings that really add up really quickly in your calories, such as sour cream, cheeses, the tortilla shell itself, and the dressing, of course. So be mindful when you're ordering salads of what else is going on that salad. This is a really good recipe. Instead of having, that queso with chips, salsa with making your own vegetables would be a great idea and option instead of using chips. And this is one of my favorite salsa recipes. So to pair with your salsa, besides eating vegetables, and like broccoli or cauliflower or bell peppers. You can also make kale chips, which I love to do, and pair it with your salsa. So this is a great recipe, and it's a great substitute instead of having chips to make baked kale chips. So that concludes our video today. I hope you learned something about eating healthy and healthy tips, and you can implement that to your daily lifestyle. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me.